Welcome to Your Unapologetic Life, the podcast. I'm Morgan Barkis, your body confidence coach, with a unique blend of education and experience. With degrees in psychology and marriage and family therapy, coupled with over a decade of working as an exotic dancer, as well as an exotic dance and fitness instructor, I'm here to guide you on a transformative journey. If you're ready to break free from societal norms and embrace your authentic self, you're in the right place. Tune in for insightful conversations and empowering strategies that will help you rediscover your confidence. As a special gift to you, I'm offering an exclusive Lose the Midlife Belly guide. All you have to do is visit morganbarkis.com and subscribe to my email list. Let's dive into this episode. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and jump in and talk about you. Laura Flowers, everyone. Laura Flowers, a school psychologist. I got this off her website. Turned life coach with a passion for helping women rediscover their authentic selves and create lives they truly love. She's been for 18 years working as a school psychologist, supporting children and families through mental health challenges. But over the time, working within the public school setting, she was feeling disconnected from her own purpose, and she realized that she had lost sight of her own dreams along the way. And that is when she made a change. So I'll let her take it from here to describe that change and that shift she was feeling and why it was important to make that change. So go ahead, Laura.
Yes, Morgan. Yes. So for the longest time, I entered the wonderful career of school psychology because I do have such a strong passion for helping people. And particularly, I was drawn to it because of mental health. I'm very, very passionate about helping people overcome mental health challenges. I myself had my own as a youth growing up, depression, anxiety, you name it. And I didn't have support. So that's what threw me into the field of school psychology. So I did it. I was a good worker. I loved it. It was so fulfilling, all the things. And then maybe, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, I started to kind of feel like, but wait, is this all there is? I don't know if this is what I'm supposed to be doing for the rest of my life. I'm finding I'm spending more times in meetings and dealing with bureaucracy bullshit than actually helping children and making a difference. So I just had this little voice in my head that, okay, I'm feeling like maybe there's something else, but I don't know what it is. And I'd be so dumb to make a change because I'm so deep into the profession and it's written on stone, right? That once you start, you have to stay forevermore and get my retirement and my pension and all the benefits. And you can't leave once you're in, right? Until no, I'm just no, I can't. I just knew that there's something more, there's something else. And it's not to negate from any of the wonderful years and experience I had working as a school psychologist, but just knowing that I didn't feel like this was the end of the final chapter story. I felt like I very much I need to start something else and start something new. And so I just kind of was grappling with ideas for how can I repurpose the skills and expertise and passions that I already have and do something that brings me joy for myself, where I'm working for me in a way that feels great to me and not for somebody else on their watch, on their schedule, on their time frame. So here I am. So I decided, and it wasn't a quick and easy decision. It was a lot of soul searching. I decided that I was really passionate about helping other women who were in a similar state that I was, as maybe middle age in life and feeling okay, there has to be something else. There has to be something more. And realizing that there really isn't ever a time where it's too late for you to make a change, and you can make a change. So I am thrilled to have discovered life coaching. And thank goodness we live in a time when coaching is a possibility and that we're able to do this, and that location doesn't matter at all. You can help people from literally any corner of the world. And I'm able to use all of this wonderful background in psychology that I've earned over the years and had, but also most recently, I'm also been very passionate passionate about energy work and Reiki and infusing energy into more holistic practices and realizing that I can use life coaching as a way to infuse the practical scientific based side of psychology as well as like the more quote unquote woo woo side of energy healing for the best possible transformations for my clients so that they too can step outside of their comfort zones, reimagine their lives, and step into a life that they're really passionate about. And so here I am.
I love it. I have a question that's completely unrelated.
Sure.
We're recording on St. Patty's Day and you're dressed up. So tell me about this. Are you Irish or are you just a full supporter?
Both.
Okay.
So I am mostly Irish, and also I am still working within a school system as I'm growing my coaching business. And so I go all in on spirit days, especially when it's something that's near and dear, like
That's
being
awesome.
Irish on St.
I
Patrick's.
had a feeling. I was like, is she doing that? Maybe they're doing that at the school. Okay.
No, it was just for this podcast, just
Love
for
it.
this moment right here.
And as you were chatting, I also was thinking, you lasted a lot longer than me. I mean,
Mm.
I went through my master's program and did all the things and did the internship and presented my final paper and graduated successfully, great grades and all the things. And I was a therapist for a year and I was like, yeah, this is not for me. And it was, for me, it was mostly, well, one, the pay. I thought, wow, this is a lot to take on. I was like, I
Yeah.
felt like I was eating everyone's feelings every day, all day,
Mhm.
and not getting paid very well for it. And I felt like, and this is where I want to hear your path or your story. I feel like there are certain things, well, two things. Why we get into the profession, I agree with you 1,000,000%. Somebody said something the other day to me, and I did have to disagree and expound on that. He said something about, I think all therapists and psychologists get into it because they have some kind of trauma. And I
Mm.
thought, not necessarily trauma. I guess we all have little t or big T trauma
Mhm.
somewhere. Something that maybe to one person wouldn't be that big of a deal, but to us, it was like, yeah, that was kind of traumatic. It was for me, or it was little T trauma or whatever. So I think but when he said that, I was like, not necessarily. I think folks that get into this profession are introspective. I think they like to explore. I kept a journal. I called it a diary when I was younger. Now I call it a journal. But I always loved to talk about feelings and feel all the feelings. And I had a lot of feelings. So I think that was intriguing. And I was also just fascinated by people's behavior. And that being said, when I was a therapist, one of the things I didn't enjoy about it, besides the pay, was I didn't get to pick my patients really. Like when you get to start your own coaching business, you get to choose who you want to work with. And I noticed that if someone said, what do you love to do so much? You read about it, you talk about it, you get super fired up about it. You would do it even if you didn't get paid for it. And for me, it's helping women
Mhm.
love their bodies as they are and really feel sexy and powerful and confident in their bodies as they are. And I could go on and on about it. I read and study, and I'm always about health and how to be better in the body that I have, because I struggled with it so much in my youth
Mhm.
and my 20s. So anyway, for what you're doing and who you would like to work with and are working with, what drew you to it? What makes you so fired up about it? Like what makes you into the energy work and the Reiki, and like what, tell me about that.
So I'm
I know it's
like
a lot. I gave you a lot there.
I love it. I'm just like, where do I want to start with this
Yeah, right.
wonderful question? Okay. So I'm going to back up a little bit for you just because I think it'll help me explain my story.
Love stories,
So
yes.
here's a story for you. Story time with Laura and Morgan. Here we go. So about a year and a few months ago, I was, going about my business as a school psychologist, doing the things. As I said earlier, I had the voice in my head, the nudge, like, oh, is there something more? But I'm not really sure. What do I do? And then on one particular day, one of the students that I work with, and as a school psychologist, I work with a lot of behaviorally dysregulated kids, kids that have a lot of social emotional traumas. That's my bag. That's what I do. That's what I love. But one particular day, one of my students was especially dysregulated and unfortunately and resulted in an extremely traumatic experience for everyone involved, including myself, where I was assaulted and I received a pretty significant head trauma and I was out of work for 5 months. So, hello, universe. Like, if this isn't a flashing red sign, like you need to do something else, you need to follow a different path. I don't know what it is. But, anyways, I was out of work for, as I said, 5 months with the different treatments, therapies, sorts of things I was doing in order to recover from this trauma. And in that time, I was like, I have always had an interest in Reiki, and I decided to really explore that a bit more for myself, and even got trained in being able to be a Reiki practitioner. And let me tell you, Morgan, it just opened up my mind to something I didn't even know existed on this planet, in this universe, that I wish everybody in the world knew about. Changed my life, opened myself up, not just Reiki specifically, but energy healing, working with energy, recognizing energy, and just being comfortable using it, manipulating it, working with it. And it's helped me heal physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And I am so excited about this that I just want to shout it from the rooftops. And that's why I am thrilled to have found life coaching profession. Also, during this 5 month hiatus, I decided to pursue certification in life coaching so that I could, if I choose to leave the profession of school psychology, do life coaching professionally. Why I chose life coaching, and I get this question a lot, is why not just open your private practice in psychology or school psychology? You already have that. I could do that. Yes. But could I infuse energy work and Reiki? Nope. As a life coach, I can take all of the wonderful things I have learned and gained over my lifetime and experiences with psychology, now with energy work, and use that to amplify the trajectory of what my clients are able to achieve. And I am so passionate about this. And as I said, like Reiki and energy work is something I'm relatively new. And when I say relatively new, I mean the past like 2 years is when I really have been diving deep and making it a part of my daily practice. It is life changing. It can help you exponentially. You have a goal, you have a set of practices you could do. You infuse energy work into what you want, and the sky is the limit, and you will get your results so much quicker. And I know for myself and for my clients, we want results, but we also want them in as quick as possible, you know? So that's what I aim to do. And that's why I'm so jazzed up and excited about this, is because I can use so many things in my toolbox that I have gained over the years, traditional, non-traditional, whatever. And it's made my practice extremely unique in that I can blend all of that to be like really a holistic way of approaching client issues and problems to help them achieve their goals. And it's been beautiful.
The Reiki stuff, I'm curious. At
Sure.
least 20 years ago, my mom and dad and I did a Reiki level 1 workshop.
Cool. Okay.
And to be honest, I was like, kind of get it, but I don't get it. My dad was actually the best of the three of us. I mean, just really, I mean, I figure he was just doing it because why not, something new. And he was actually like kind of powerful. And then
Yeah.
we just did that one workshop and that was it. And my curiosity as you were talking is, was it a workshop? Was it a class? Were you reading? I mean, and then was someone practicing on you? Because you're like, it healed me. So describe your journey in finding it, and then obviously you become something. I don't want to use the word master, but I'm assuming that's it, that you're like working on an energy worker. And I have a girlfriend of mine who I used to teach dance and fitness classes with years ago, and she's an energy worker full time. Like she does intuitive work and energy.
Yeah.
And so I'm just wondering what your path is in finding it to heal yourself, and then also learning it in a way that now you can practice on others.
Awesome question. So I started out just like with a curiosity. And you mentioned the word intuition, and I want to dwell on that for a moment. Because I do think we all have intuition within us, and intuition is what led me to pursue Reiki. And it's like the very tangible way I can explain it is that I literally had like a period of time where a coworker mentioned to me Reiki out of nowhere. I was listening to a podcast and Reiki came up. I was reading an article and they mentioned the benefits of Reiki. And like I could go on. I'm just like, oh, okay. Like I think I'm going to pursue this. I think I'm
I
going
was
to
gonna
try
say, is this a sign? Yeah.
universe. Are you talking about? Yes. So I did it, and I went to a class locally with my Reiki mentor, Laura Ramirez. If she is listening, I want to give her huge shout outs. I love her. She's amazing. She changed my life. um Taught me Reiki. I did my Reiki one, the whole courses, and I fell in love. I'm like, I want to sign up for the next. So you practice for 3 months and then you could do the second. And then you practice for 6 months and then you could do the third. And then like there's a progression that you build upon. And so now ultimately I have the total of Reiki master practitioner for, but what that means for me is that I literally use it in any and all aspects of my life, my family's life, my friend's life, if they are wanting it to receive it. And there's this beautiful space in town where I give Reiki sessions locally in person as well.
Very cool.
And it
Okay.
is cool. But when I say I use energy all the time, like whenever I can use it on myself and it's really healing. And I know, Morgan, I've recently gone through an experience in my family where there is quite a bit of heartache. And um, when you experience yourself heartache, when you have the ability to work with energy, you really are able to pull in the healing energy of the universe for yourself. And I can tell you without a doubt that that helped me heal quicker and find the strength to be strong for my family and to make the necessary actions and decisions to move forward. And that's just one specific thing, but literally when I'm around people that are in pain, whether it's physical, mental, physiological, psychological, doesn't matter. I automatically now, because I'm attuned to the energy, I have physical sensations in my body where I'm just naturally like holding my hands out and wanting to give them energy. And I do. And like, and I'll ask, I'm like, is it okay if I give you energy? And a lot of the times it's yes, sometimes it's no, thank you. And I just, doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be a big production, but I'm able to just naturally give that healing energy, and it helps to help people move through things. I feel it myself physically as I'm doing it. Whoever I'm working with feels it instantaneously. And it's been a beautiful thing to infuse in my personal life, my friends and family, even pets. You can use it with animals, like if they're like having a symptom or whatever, you just it's natural. And as you work with energy more, your intuition grows. And so I mentioned the example of the intuition of just stumbling upon Reiki, of hearing over and over Reiki, 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 and I have to do it. But now it's a lot more subtle, but it's loud to me. So I will get a sense that someone or something needs something, and I just intuitively know. And um, it's hard to put into words, but I know that I know what needs to be done in order to help, or I know that somebody is in need of some healing, and I am guided to help them in a way, whether it's through Reiki energy, whether it's through conversation, whether it's through a gesture that I give. It's just there's a lot more wisdom that you're able to access when you are comfortable working with the energy that's all around us.
And talk to me about virtually. Can you do that virtually when you're working with folks, or is the Reiki piece or the energy work piece mostly in person?
So the beautiful thing about energy is that
It's everywhere.
yes, we are all infinitely connected in time and space. It doesn't matter at all where you are on the world. It doesn't matter. I can just as powerfully connect with somebody energetically on the other side of the planet. And I know that might go even out there. I don't know how deep you want to go down this rabbit hole, but also like generationally, ancestrally, you can connect in different timelines of people too, like your own past lives, future lives, and that of others. Like we are all infinitely connected. And I know this is like a very woo-woo conversation that I wasn't anticipating happening right now, but I'm inspired to because like I said earlier, because I've learned this and because I've incorporated it and I know it in every cell of my body to be true, I want everybody else to know about it too, because it's so powerful and it's all for the good of everybody. It's just the energy, it just wants everybody to live their highest and best lives, be their happiest, most fulfilled, most joyous, their highest potentials. And so I just want to share it. So if there's ever anybody that has an ear and like, tell me about it, I'm like, yeah, I'll talk to you about it, because if you don't know about it, I want you to learn about it. It really can make a difference in your life.
I mean, I'm into woo woo. And even as you were describing that the universe and the energy wants us all to be running at a high vibration and for our best good, I was like, wow, I'm already feeling a little better, because
Isn't it
I
weird how that happens?
like that. And going back to your story, the earlier part, and talking about, you thought you'd stay in your profession, and it isn't a little wild to just up and change it at this point in time. And what I've learned about life is it is not linear. I mean, I think about the hot mess express I was in my 20s, and then
Mm-hmm.
in my 30s, I was still figuring out what I wanted to be when I grew up. Got into my 40s and thought I knew what I was going to be when I grew up. Now I'm approaching 45, and I'm like, I'm going all in on this coaching thing. I mean,
Hell yes.
yeah, I've been talking about this for 11 years, and I took the safe route, by getting
Yeah.
a corporate job, and I am grateful and appreciate it. And I want to serve women, and
Mm-hmm.
even when I say it, I'm like, I get fired up.
Get
Anyway,
excited.
I say that to bring it back to you and how you help folks transition, because life is not linear and these
Mhm.
changes can be made. I have a friend of mine who we send each other a lot of stuff on Instagram, and we both cheer each other on, and she's one of my heart check girls. And
Oh.
and she often will send me stuff, so and so wrote her first book at 62, or this gal started a
Mhm.
company in her 50s, or whatever it is. So talk to us about the transitions and how you coach people through those, and that really, as non-linear as life is, how to get a feel for when it's time to make a change, what to do with
Mhm.
those feelings or that energy, and
Mhm.
how to embrace those transitions.
Mhm. And you and my puppy over here trying to open the
I
door.
was
She's
just
like,
say, let her in.
"Why did you shut the door on me, Mama?"
It's
Come on.
like, what are you doing in there? It sounds fun.
Oh my goodness, puppy energy. Okay. So, how do I help people through transitions? How do I help them realize when it's time? So a lot of times if they've reached out to me as a life coach, a transformational life coach, they've already had the voice, they've already had the nudge. And so part of my role is helping women to really trust their intuition, know when it's showing up, really get good at listening to it, and being able to put it into concrete terms as to what that means for them. And so there's a lot of things that I can do to help women through this process. And a lot of it, honestly, that I've used myself. And so I'm able to share with others what has been helpful in order to do that. And I also want to go back to what you said earlier about starting different chapters later in life, because that is a common theme that comes up for me, is that like I've already been doing this career for 20 years or 15 years, whatever. Like it would be so stupid for me to leave it and to do something else. Or like, let's say we're talking about a relationship. I've been married for 20 years. I have a family, but I'm not happy. So I have to stay because that's what society is telling me I need to do. And I could never find another partner or be happy again at this point in my life. Um, and I'm here to tell you that's a load of crap. And I say that because I've lived it myself where like there's this narrative that society has beautifully written for us is that we have this neat little role of what we're supposed to do. You sign up for this career, this marriage, whatever it is, and you have to stick it through, right? You until forevermore. You just like have, and then fade into black. That's it. And that just doesn't feel good. Like our souls, and I'm going to go back to the woo for a moment here. Our souls know the truth. Our souls know that we are meant for more. Our souls know that we have so much more to give. And so if you have that nudge, if you have that pull, if you have that voice in your head telling you that you want more, that you want something else, that you want to grow, you want to expand, you have that in your head for a reason. It is there for a reason. It is not just you having this random thought. Like you are meant for more. And we are doing an incredible disservice to ourselves to stick by the narrative that society has written for us that we need to stay in these neat little boxes. A disservice to ourselves and a disservice to society around us because we are keeping our gifts to ourselves. And we all carry so many gifts. We are all so much more than the career we signed up for or whatever it is. Like we have so much to give and our souls are fully actualized when we are able to show all of the talents and gifts that we have and share it with the world. And so, what I am able to do in coaching and what I love doing is helping women to recognize the other parts of themselves, to step outside of the smaller identity that they might have been living by and claim proudly the other parts of themselves so that they can continue to grow themselves and share their gifts with those around them. And I really truly believe it's for the betterment of the planet as a whole, for all of us.
And do you help folks that may not even know what their gifts are, what direction they're going? And I say that when I was 33 and I left my therapy gig, girl, I didn't know what I was going to do. I quit my job and I gave up my apartment. And I would say it wasn't like I have gifts that I'm not fulfilling. It was, I don't want to live in Minnesota anymore and go through another winter. So I didn't break out of a relationship. And yes, I left a career because it didn't pay well and I didn't enjoy it. And it
Mhm.
wasn't like I'm going to go share my gifts with the world. I just got a cash job just to get by. Like, I think one of the things is just having the courage, because a lot of people say, Morgan, you're so courageous. Because
Mhm.
I did it even though I was scared. I
Mhm.
got in my car and drove to Miami, not knowing where I was going to live or what I was going to do for a living. Like I had no plan.
Yeah.
But I, like you, trusted the universe. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen, and I know something's going to happen. I'm not going to be homeless. Actually, I was homeless a couple times, but not really. I had girlfriends that would let me come, stay or, so I always, thank goodness, I like to stay connected to folks. And I think that like attracts like. And so if you put out good energy,
Right.
hopefully good energy comes back. If you're generous, then someone will be generous to you at some point in your life.
Mhm. Mhm.
Anyway, I say all that to say sometimes the shifts, there's a hesitation, not because it's like, I know I'm meant for more. It's more, I just don't like where I'm at. And I have to be courageous enough to go, I don't know what's on the other side of this. And it's scary. And I'm going to do it anyway because I know what I do know. And that is, I'm going to land on my feet.
Yeah.
Somehow I'm going to land on my feet. So, do you run into women that are in that stage where they're like,
Oh my God.
I don't know what's going to happen?
Yes. Wait, Morgan, I don't get women that are reaching out to me being like, Laura, I want to fulfill my life's gifts. Help me fulfill my life's gifts. What are my gifts?
Yeah.
No, that's the deeper issues that like you don't know that you don't know that I help you figure out. So I get women that are coming to me like, I am freaking miserable in my career. I dread getting up every morning going to work. I snapped at my children for the 12th time today over them freaking spilling a box of crayons on the floor and I'm not liking who I am when I look in the mirror because of that. And my marriage is now suffering because I'm like being an asshole at home too. Help. Okay. So that's not the woman coming to me saying like, oh, I want to fulfill my life's gifts.
But
No.
I know there's more.
Yeah, right. But so that's the thing though, is that what a lot of people most people, I would say, don't realize when they approach a life coach or transformational life coach, such as myself, is that there are underlying issues. There are deeper concerns. So the issues that are the presenting problem are the symptom of a greater issue. So yes, ultimately, if you picked up the phone to call me to be like, I hate my job, help me find a new job, damn right, I'm going to help you find a new job, but also it's going to be something that's fulfilling your life purpose, that's lighting you up every morning, and that's making you a better person, a better wife, a better mom, because you're happy and you're doing what's in alignment with your purpose. Like, that's how it comes to play. And then they're like, oh man, I didn't even realize that that was the issue, that was like I was living a life like on autopilot, just like going through the motions and doing something. And like you said, like, you will land on your feet. You do the scary thing. It's scary. If it was easy to make change, everybody would do it. We'd all do it. We'd all leave our careers. We'd all like do the thing. It's scary. It's hard, but it takes such courage and such trust that, as you said, you will be okay. You will land on your feet. You are meant you are meant to be successful in whatever that means for you. It is hard to make change. It is hard to take the step. And so when people reach out to me, it's a lot of times because they're wanting some guidance on making a step on something very concrete. But what it turns into is like a much bigger like explosion of like, oh my gosh, there's so much more in life and this is awesome.
Sure. And what do you do with gals that have a different mindset? Because I'm the jump in and I'll figure it
Yeah.
out gal. I really am. And I think it's terrifies my parents sometimes because they're like, wait, what are you doing? I get it. And I'm always like, I'll figure it out. And there are the folks that are more the what if gals. But what if? But what if? But and they're only thinking of all the things that could go wrong or all the things that might stop them, hold them back, or might not go well. And I think one, it's a personality thing. I'm just a risk taker. I always have been, little out there gal, free spirit. And there are folks that are more cautious, and that's all
Yeah.
right. And
Yep.
if they do want to make a transition, you're probably going to have to help them with the what if, what if, what ifs. So
Mhm.
how do you work with the mindset with the what if folks?
Well, I would start by saying you don't have to like pack up your car and move to Miami and not know what you're going to
Don't
do.
go quite as drastic as Morgan. You want to throw your whole life away.
You don't have to. You can. So okay. You start small. You start with little tiny baby steps, and it's like taking little experiments and seeing, I'll go, okay, I'm going to do this small thing that I normally don't do. And it could be something as stupid as if you're super like worried about change, take a different route to work and see how,
Oh,
if does that work out for you.
baby
You know,
steps.
baby steps, but you build upon them. And the reason is because you're building the muscle of seeing that if you take tiny steps, stepping outside of your comfort zone and realizing the sky doesn't fall down on top of you, you're going to build the muscle of knowing that you have it within you to do the things that you didn't think were possible. And it's very much like there are different personality types, and I totally respect that. And there's different personality stages in life. Like, even for me, like, there were periods of my life where I was much more like, I will jump in and do the scary thing without any knowledge of what will happen. And there's been other stages, where I'm like, oh, like, I've got a family, I've got to be responsible, I got to like check the boxes, make sure it's not going to be irresponsible of me. I get it. I get it. I'm very much about meeting people where they are at, and because that's where growth happens. If I try to meet somebody in a place where they just aren't at, it's not going to help them, it's not going to be successful for me as a coach. We need to meet each other, and that's the beautiful thing about coaching, as opposed to therapy, is that I don't work with clients as the expert. I am your partner. I meet you where you are. We collaborate, we work together. And that, I think, is also one of the beautiful things that helps it be such a more transformational process than traditional therapy, counseling, psychotherapy, whatever, because we're partners. Like, I'm not better than you. We are going to figure this out together, and it's going to be okay. And I'm going to help guide you. And if you mess up, I'm going to be there. I'm going to pick you up. Like, we're going to get it. It's all good. It's okay.
I like that you said that about the coaching thing. One of the things that I found challenging when I was the short time that I was a therapist was no physical contact, because sometimes someone needs a hand. It's like, "Let me take your hand
Mhm.
in this moment as you're talking about this thing and your tears are streaming down your face," like, because that's my natural instinct,
Yes.
and then the other thing was not sharing that I'm also a human, that maybe I went through something, and I say that with the caveat, a lot of times when you're a therapist, you run the gamut of the folks that are walking through the door.
Mhm.
So you may or may not have experienced. I mean, I worked with a teenager once and she was a cutter. I mean, her anxiety was through the roof and she was struggling with gender stuff and sexuality stuff and the pressures of school and expectation. And I was like, well, I definitely didn't go through that. And now when you're a coach, you are very specifically working with a group of people that you want to, and you are steps ahead of them, because it sounds like you went through your own transition stuff and
Mhm.
now you're like, wow, okay, now I want to help other people. I want to coach them through this, just like I had my own eating disorders and body image issues and stuff, and I finally figured out a way to get over that. And it's like,
Mhm.
well, now I want to share it with the world, because this took me years to figure out. And so I'm just so excited. I want to tell it, and so I think that as a coach, like you said, it is more of a partnership because I was there too. So these are
Mhm.
some of the things that, and here's how, here's a system, or here's a few things that we could try because it worked for me. It's not going to look the same for you. And I can
Mhm.
coach you through this because I've walked some of these steps too. I feel like that's a good difference between therapy and coaching as well, as you can share. You don't have to be this person sitting across the way with your notepad that doesn't have to share that they're also a human being. You can say, let's talk about this. Let's dive into this. Let's work together, and share more of the personal stuff, because the people want to know. They want to connect with you and feel like, wow,
Right.
she did it. I can do it too.
Exactly. And I think that that's how a lot of people, myself included, grow is by seeing somebody who did the thing that you're hoping to achieve and working with them. And it's so powerful. I mean, I work with a coach and she's brought me light years because she did the thing that I was hoping to achieve, which is transition from being a traditional psychologist to a coach and being wildly successful with it. I'm like, crap, I want to know how to do that. And for you, like, struggling with your own body image issues. You're like, this is a thing that I went through it and now I want to be able to help other people go through it. You can use your trauma as a treasure to help others. And it really is. And I don't want people to ever look back on their experiences as and I say this with a caveat too, but like there is strength to be had from all of our trials that we have gone through. And if we are brave enough and open enough to share that with others and use that as a way to help them get through their struggles much quicker and more efficiently than how we got through ourselves, then we are doing, in my opinion, like one of our life's purposes is to use our lives' experiences and wisdom and knowledge to help others. And so use your specific areas of passion, personal experience. For you, body image. For me, transformation, mental health. Like use it. It is a crime to keep these nuggets of wisdom to ourselves when there are so many people that could benefit from it.
The gal that I work with, she's my lawyer for my business lawyer. She helped me write up my contracts and this, that, and the other thing. And she said, your gifts make room for you. I was like, girl, say that again. What? And she's like, basically, your gifts will make room for you. And I was like, I love that, because it's true. And I like what you said about use your treasure or your trauma as a treasure sometimes, because it can be like, poor me, poor me, poor me. Um, I've always looked at it like, okay, wait a second, what did I learn here? And
Mhm.
every not great romantic relationship I've had, I'm like, I chose to be with this person, or I chose to stay.
Mhm.
Eventually that didn't work out. So what am I going to take from this? What did I learn? What choice am I going to make different next time? I mean, everything you do in your life, like you said, is a way to learn and then share with someone else.
It really is. And, you really do choose your attitude in life. You can, as you said, choose to be a victim. And I use the word choice very deliberately. Um, you can choose to be a victim or you can choose to be a survivor or a hero. And that choice will dictate so many so many outcomes and so many other effects in the future as things unfold for you. Because yeah, like there's so much wisdom and strength to be gained from the trials that we all go through. We all go through stuff, and if we can share with others what we've learned, then we're doing a great job. We're doing good by society and by this planet.
Agreed. Now, midlife is not super easy for some. I think the biggest change for me is when I see pictures of myself at 35, I'm like, wow, no lines there. And now there are lots of lines.
Hear you on that.
And I have chosen to not do any kind of work. So for me, I'm like, boy, buckle in, Morgan, because this is just going to be what it is. And so that's one of probably my struggles. And then also don't have the same physical capacity as I used to. I used to be all about power, man. I was doing the CrossFit and the burpees. I love burpees. I don't do burpees anymore. There's no jumping or twisting or sprinting in this body anymore. Anyway, I say all that because other folks have other struggles with midlife, and I'm talking about women specifically. And I hear a few women, they'll say, I feel like aging women, and I get it because in media and movie stars, there's a lot of pressure to stay pretty,
Mhm.
and obviously models and things like that. And I am neither a model nor a movie star, so I'm not worried about that. And some women, they'll say, I feel like older women are invisible or they're forgotten about. Um, and that we don't matter anymore. And I'm like, what? Like,
Mhm.
you can, again, it's sort of like, to who? Like, do you care? Who are you worried about mattering to? Or why do you feel invisible? And I don't, there could be a myriad of things. And I'm just wondering, as women, that you work with women that are transitioning, whether it's, lifestyle, career, a relationship, or even just transitioning from a different decade, because 30s going into 40s is a different ball game. And I'm sure
Mhm.
50s will be even more of a wild ride, in various ways, physically and emotionally, mentally. Really great in some ways. I think some women are like, these are the best decades of my life. And other women really struggle and they feel invisible and they feel like they don't matter anymore and that youth is everything.
Mhm.
What are some ways that you can talk to those women that are feeling like they're not as important now that their youth is going away, or their body is changing, or they just don't feel like they matter as much in society, or they feel invisible, or whatever.
Yeah, and everything you're saying, yep, 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 yep. I hear you. I am unapologetically 43 years old myself, and so yes, like I have no problem sharing my age. And I do that also very deliberately to be an example that as we age, that we don't have to like be less than. We don't have to like lose our fire. In fact, for me personally, I found that as I've been aging, I'm gaining fire, I'm gaining courage, I'm gaining passion, I'm gaining like stability. Like I'm just all these things that and I know some people would disagree with me when I say that, but I feel like 43 is fucking fire and I wouldn't trade it. I love it. I love my life. I love the person I am. And like, yes, I look in the mirror and I have lines now that didn't used to be there. Yes, I have, flab on my body that wasn't there 10 years ago. And that is absolutely real. And do I have my moments where I'm like, oh, uh, like this doesn't feel great, but then I like bring it back. Like you have to be able to bring it back because I love what you said. To who? Like, who am I trying to impress? Who? Like a 20-year-old influencer on TikTok that's scrolling. Like she's like good for her, power to her. But like I'm not like spending my days trying to impress that person or anybody. And so for the women that I work with and myself, because I am part of that category, is that we need to remember that we have so many gifts. And when we stand strongly and proudly in our space, in our skin, we take up space. We have podcasts like your unapologetic life. Like that is just like the era of like, no, like here I am, look at me. I've got a lot to say. And I bet you there are women listening to your podcast that are like, damn, Morgan, like like you're amazing. Look at you, your confidence, like your ability to just have these conversations, to bring light on so many topics, to build up women and help them feel good about themselves. Like we live in an amazing era too. Like this stuff didn't happen 10 years ago. Like there wasn't a podcast like this for women to tell their stories. And like, I think that is just a gift and we owe it to ourselves and we owe it to other people to take up space and to speak up and to be proud. And here I am. You don't like the wrinkle that's in my forehead right now? I'm sorry. And like you, I'm not going to do Botox. This is who I am. Love me or leave me. And it's okay because I love myself regardless. And like you said also earlier, like people attract like people. And so my tribe has found me and I have found my tribe, including you, that you just find people that you are on the same wavelength with, and then your spirit and energy just grows, and that influences more and more people around you. And for the women I'm working with, when they are able to step into that and be confident in their skin and take up space, even if it's really scary at first, because it is a lot of the times, um, they're surprised at the positive feedback that happens, the positivity that unfolds around them, and just like, oh, like this is really cool. Like, and you're inspiring to other people by doing that, just by being yourself.
I would agree with that. There's been things I've shared, personal things, and a female friend years ago, I had shared something and she emailed me privately and she's like, Morgan, I've been dealing with the same thing and I've never told anyone. And you just put it out there like that. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, what, I'm glad, and I've been always a little out there and probably overshared. So I'm probably an exception to the rule. And I've noticed through the decades, like when I lived down in Miami, there's a nude beach in Miami, and there's one section. It's a 1 mile long section. There's signs before you walk in, and it basically says you may encounter nude bathers. And I love the nude beach. I'm out there. I want vitamin D on all the parts, And I don't like swimsuits anyway. I don't think they're very flattering. I don't care what kind of body you got. Swimsuits are not cute. So anyway, I was just thinking, you go to this nude beach and most of the folks there are 50 plus, because at that point you stop caring as much. And I'm like, man, I wish more women in their 20s could feel this confident. And this lady over here, who's not a Victoria's Secret model by any stretch of the imagination, she is out here living her best life, bathing her beautiful body, and doesn't care what anyone else thinks. And I think sometimes it's because it's decades earned. The lines on my face and how my body's changed, it's because it's decades of experience over here, and I'm proud
That's
of it. I
right.
think that you don't have that when you're in your 20s, usually, because it does. It takes that life experience to go, huh, I said the thing and the world didn't fall apart. Like you said, the sky didn't fall. I did that thing and it was a little rough, but I made it through. I did it. And I've noticed that when some people, they're afraid to do something, and it's kind of like that the one character from Hangover. Did you die though? It's like it and there's been times where, I've gone through difficult things and I think, wait a second, this is not the first time I've been here. Or something similar. And the years, your life experience gives you the wisdom and also the power to know this is temporary. I'm going to figure this out. And so I guess I feel like I've earned the lines and the stomach that's not as tight and this, that, and the other thing. Because it's like, I earned this stuff and and I'm proud of it. And again, like you said, like you're attracting the folks that should be around you anyway. I'm not, the folks that are around me are women going through the same thing. So let's talk about it. Like, let's be candid about it. And so anyway, yeah, I think it's not easy traveling through the decades, and it's really fun at the same time.
Agreed. Yes, agreed. Yeah, no, it's a wild ride for sure. Um, but it's really fun if you choose to have that mindset of like, "Oh, this is so cool. This is so fun." Like, because you do have a different mindset. You do have the wisdom. You do have more confidence, at least, you can. And it's fun. And I also just, at this stage in the game, I'm loving to just challenge societal norms too. Like like going back to like body types even. Who decided that a flat stomach is the thing that is beautiful? There are plenty of people that find a little something to hold on to extremely attractive. So, like, who are we trying to impress? Who? And like, it's really about, like, being comfortable in your own skin and loving your body, loving who you are and the experiences that blessed you with this beautiful temple that houses all that you are. Love it.
And all you've done.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked what you said about taking up space. That theme has come up. I interviewed my friend Tania, and she's a fitness and nutrition coach, and down in South Florida, and she talks about she doesn't do diets.
Mhm.
She is like nourish your body. And who
Yeah.
said you can't take up space? Who said you have to be stick thin? Who said that?
Mhm.
Like you just said. And I'm a little nervous about what's happening right now because folks in the limelight, especially uh, hello, movie stars and stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
You see the red carpets and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
folks are getting really thin again. We're like
They
going back to that 90s chic,
yes,
super
the
thin.
heroin chic, yeah.
And it's kind of freaking me out a little bit because it's a standard that's unrealistic. Like there are body types that are like that. Yes, girl, you do you. And if you're not, that's okay. Because who are we trying to impress? There's somebody out there that's gonna think you are the hottest smoke show they've ever seen in their life,
Mhm.
as you are.
Mhm.
Anyway, so I really like that taking up space thing because we are as women, and my friend Tania pointed out where we've been trained to be smaller and quieter, and and it's like no, live out loud, get big, and take chances and rally around talking about feeling invisible, uh, creating a community that feels supportive. And so for me, it's my Monday heart checks with a few of my girlfriends. One, we can kind of commiserate, like, whoo, feeling a little stressed this week, or wow, this really awesome thing happened. So it's like a safe space to share. And I don't feel invisible in that group. And to me, that's the group that's there week after week. Those are the important folks. That
Right.
that community I built. Do you have anything to share about your community that you've built around you and some of the women you work with? How important community is?
Oh my god, without community, I mean, I don't know where I would be without community. I mean, I some people that I've encountered in my own previous lives have felt like I need to do it all on my own. I don't need anybody. I got this. Like it's me against the world. And yeah, that didn't work for me, and that doesn't work for a lot of people. We are social beings. We are really meant to live in community and to help each other, especially as women. And we've gotten away from that this past dozens of years, however long, maybe more. But we're really meant to be living in community, helping each other, building each other up, learning from one another, caring for one another instead of competing, comparison, all of that, which is so just
Damaging?
toxic. It's horrible. It's horrible. Like you want to live an unhappy life, compare and compete with other women. Like seriously. Um, there when in this most recent chapter of my life where I'm embarking on a doing coaching full time, and incorporating energy work, there is no way I would have been able to take the steps that I have by myself. I have been blessed to surround myself with a community of women that are very much on the same wavelength as me, that encourage me, that lifts me up when I am down, that point out strengths when I don't see any, that teach me when I don't know something. It's not a sign of weakness at all, like, to lean on your people, it's not. It's a sign of immense strength, to know that you are held, to know that you can put your most raw, vulnerable self out there and you will be nurtured and respected. And just as I do for the women in my community as well, it is very much like a mutually beneficial relationship for everybody involved. We are here for one another. We build each other up. It feels good. You literally feel the difference. Like for me, it's like so much like within my body, the comfort, the happiness, the joy that I have in connection and community with others that are either going through what I am going through or wanting to go through what I've done or have already achieved what I am hoping to achieve. Like we're all in this together. This isn't a competition in life. There's plenty to go around for everybody. We can play nicely in the sandbox. We're good. Um, I would encourage anybody that is listening or anybody in any sort of professional like journey in their lives, find your people. You shouldn't do this alone, whatever it is the thing that you're doing. Surround yourself by people that believe in you, that build you up, that bring out the best qualities in you, and you will see exponentially the growth that you will have personally. What about you, Morgan? How's community been for you?
When I was a kiddo, I have a younger brother, and we grew up in the country, and we mostly just spent time with each other because it's
Mhm.
we didn't have a neighborhood, and we didn't. My parents worked around. We had like a hobby farm. It wasn't like a functioning farm. For my dad was a plumbing contractor for his career, and then we also had animals and farm. So anyway, we spent a lot of time on the farm, and so there wasn't a lot of outside influence, and so I was really good friends with my brother, and my grandmother, my paternal grandmother said to me once, oh, and then when I went to high school, one of my best friends was a guy. And she said, Morgan, you need your girlfriends.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't need any girlfriends. Like, and then I got into my 20s and I was like, oh, I need girlfriends. just, it's just different. Like you get to a certain point and life experiences are different and you need your girlfriends.
Yeah.
And and your mom, if you're fortunate enough to have your mom. I've had a lot of women in my life go, you are so lucky to be as close to your mom as you are. And I, as you were talking, I was thinking, we suffer in silence. I was going through something a while back. It was like a month or so ago. And I was driving myself crazy and I was journaling on the daily for a few days and it was really bothering me. And then finally I texted my parents. I said, can you two talk right now? She's like, give us 5 minutes. And they always put me on speakerphone. And I told her what was going on. And I'm like, am I the crazy one here? Or am I like, tell me? And they're like, no. And so it was just bouncing something off with someone else to go, okay, cool. So I am setting appropriate boundaries here and I am being reasonable, and it was just like, I needed that because I was in my head way, way, way too much. And just to have a confidant, and in this case, my parents' confidants who've been in my life my entire life, or girlfriends that, you bounce something off and they go, Morgan, actually, that was really awesome. I'm really proud of you that you did this. And I'm like, I'm over here thinking, and I didn't do this and I didn't do enough of that, and so it's just, yes, having the girlfriends. When I danced, I worked around all women and we were all, one of the things that I do miss about it is, not the work itself anymore. I miss the camaraderie of the girls because we all were in this in an industry that you can't understand unless you've been in it, and the work hours and the physical toll it takes and the emotional toll, and the sense of humor and the laughs you got to have sometimes. And there was just that female friendship. And even though these were women, I didn't hang out outside of the club. It was a similar experience that we were all going through. And so, yes, everywhere, whether it was professional or personal, really, really value my girlfriends. And I'll say, Grandma, you were so right. Wherever you are, you were very right. This girl needs girlfriends. So, yeah.
Yes. It's so true. It's
Yeah.
so true. Yeah, I feel that. I feel everything you just said.
So, talking about Girl Squad, where do you want folks to find you, follow you, like you, connect with you? Like, tell me about what you have going on
Sure.
and how women can get in touch with you.
Yeah. So if you're interested in learning more or connecting with me, my website is super simple. It's just lauraflowersllc.com. I do offer a free 30-minute session just to connect, to see where you're at, see what your goals are, see if I might be able to help you achieve them. I also do a podcast called Rediscovering You that is all about helping women through different phases of transition of their life and taking power and taking up space. And so it's super fun. And then, yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, LinkedIn, just my name, Laura
I was gonna
Flowers.
say, just Google Laura Flowers and you find
Yeah,
everything, yeah?
me. Yep. I'm here.
I've occasionally Google myself. Well, and my website is
Yeah.
morganbarkers.com. So you end up seeing it, and I'll say, that picture's on there? Like, why does the internet still have that? Speaking of insecure, is one of my, Lord only knows. I mean, I've had the Instagram and all the things, right?
Mhm.
There was a picture from like 2002 when I was in college and I'd picked up like 35 pounds and I'm only 5'3", so it was not cute on me. And it was, it was not my best time in life. And I was
But
like,
you know what? Somehow the internet was like, this is what the world needs to see.
these folks need to know that Morgan had a very round face. She was very full. No, that was, every time I see that picture, I think, how does the internet keep this one? Because I wrote
Yeah.
an article for the college or something. And I'm like, well, at least I wrote an article for the college. That's nice.
Yes.
It's my favorite picture, but anyway, so yeah, if you just Google Laura Flowers, you can find her anywhere and everywhere. And you said you got the YouTube, the Instagram, you got your website, and you have, remind us again of your podcast, the name of the podcast.
Rediscovering You. Rediscovering You. You can find it anywhere you listen to your podcast. I'd love for you to check it out. I'm hopeful that I'll have Morgan on as a guest very soon. So we're going to get her take on life as well.
This is a random question that just popped in my head, and then we'll wrap. My motto in life is, if you don't try, you won't know. Do you have a motto in your life?
Oh, geez. No, I don't have a motto. Now I need to think of a motto.
I don't know. That's always been mine because again, I'm the jump in head first gal.
Yeah.
And so I'm always like, well, if you don't try, you won't know. Although calamari, I'm not trying that. There's certain foods that I won't try. Experiences, yes. Foods, no.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So when I have you as a guest, I'm going to have a motto that I'm going to have fabricated, and it's going to be super inspiring. But I will tell you this, it's not a motto, but
Okay.
I did the one word challenge for this year. I don't know if you're familiar with the one word challenge, but my one word for this year is expand. So I am very much in the energy of taking up space, of growing, learning, spreading myself out there. And I encourage other people to do the same, to just be yourself, put yourself out there, try new things, and listen to my doggy over there. She's like, hey.
Okay, and that's a wrap. Laura, appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Your Unapologetic Life. I hope you found inspiration and practical tips to help you embrace your unique beauty. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with at least one woman in your life that you care about. Hit that follow button, and if this episode resonates with you, take a moment to rate and review. Your support helps us reach more women on their journeys to confidence. And remember, for even more resources, including my exclusive Lose the Midlife Belly guide filled with my personal tips and tricks, visit morganbarkis.com and subscribe to my email list. Thank you for being here, and I can't wait to connect with you in the next episode.